Hi there. What is quantum jumping? Have you heard that expression? One of my colleagues as a Silva Ultramind trainer, Bert Goldman, kind of made that expression famous. He had a course called quantum jumping, but it came along even before him. There was a woman named Cynthia Sue Larson who talked about quantum jumping. She'd had many experiences in her life where she quantum jumped by being in two places at once, avoiding situations that she jumped into a better version of what was going to happen. I've done that many times. And you can do it too, because you are not just your five senses. You are much, much more. You are a multidimensional being. And when you understand that, you can actually go to a place where you are a version of yourself that maybe you're not experiencing yet in the three-dimensional world, but you can bring that into your experience by feeling like you really are that person that you want to become. I've done that many times. Like I said, that's how I wrote a book. That's how I manifested certain jobs that I enjoyed, that I wanted to do to check out aspects of the human experience. And I've avoided accidents. One day I was driving my little sports car down Bayshore Drive in San Francisco. I left San Francisco International Airport and I was driving to my home in Marin. And maybe I was a little spacey from jet lag. And I got into a very close call with a truck. But it was as if my little sports car was lifted out of one lane and plunked down in the left lane to avoid the accident. I'll never forget the look on the truck driver's face when he looked at me, stunned that we had avoided a collision. That kind of stuff can happen if you're listening to your higher self through meditation and contemplation, reflection, and going within a lot to that inner world that we all have, subjective consciousness, where we can use our imagination to make things happen and to free ourselves from just living with our five senses, which are limited. They're very effective in the three-dimensional world when you need to see something or hear something or smell something. It's all there, but it's limited. It's very limited. When you get into your higher self, which is part of the source, God, you're infinite. And you can get messages, you can get information when you need it. You can actually recreate yourself when you need to, when you want to. You have to have a desire to. But once you get that burning desire to become a different version of yourself and you focus in on it, it happens. One of the techniques I used when I wanted to manifest a certain job that was open, I would look in the mirror every morning, and I did this Louise Hay thing. She tells you how to do this. You look in the mirror and you look in your eyes and you say, I love you. I really, really love you. And then once you feel really good about loving yourself, you proclaim certain affirmations that you need in order to catalyze whatever it is that you're desiring. For me, it was, I am so successful. I am powerful. I know exactly what I'm doing when I'm doing something. People offer me situations that are powerful and interesting and uplifting. And I would just say these things every morning as I was getting dressed, looking in the mirror, until I convinced myself that I felt really good about myself. You can do the same thing. And when you do that, you shift your frequency from, being at the bottom of the fish tank to up near the top where the dolphins live, and you can live in the sunlight and experience a much better experience in this three-dimensional world. But you need to pull yourself out of the same old loop that you keep going through in your subconscious mind. If you're not reprogramming, you're just going to get more of the same. So it's so important to wake up, be conscious, and it's a spiritual process, because the more you get into forgiveness, forgiving everyone, including yourself, because you create your own universe. If you're thinking really bad thoughts about other people that are in your life, or even people that you don't know that you're starting to hate for some reason, you're really polluting yourself. You're drinking your own poison, because your consciousness only knows about you. And whatever you're thinking is just happening to you. It's not happening to these other people. No matter how much you want to do something to them, it doesn't work that way. You're doing it to yourself. So forgiveness is a very, very important aspect to being able to get these messages from your higher self, the divine. And gratitude is also a big one, because if you're grateful for what you have right now, and you truly are grateful that you have what you need, and it can be anything: food, housing, clothes, something to do, friends, family. If you're really grateful for what you have right now, even if it's not such a great thing that you think you're experiencing, but be grateful for it, then you make room for more to come in, because you're expanding your consciousness. I had to practice not resisting back in the day when I was on the airplanes. I would get kind of aggravated during certain episodes and periods of being on the plane. But if I knew that the more I resisted, the more it would persist, until I finally got to that place where I just didn't resist anymore. I went with the flow. And when you go with the flow, you open up the vortex, and the good things can come your way, because you're not blocking them. The thing that blocks the good stuff is negative emotion. So you always want to be going for a higher emotion. And usually you have to have some sort of a spiritual practice in order to bring in that higher energy. You've got to read good books, study the scriptures, find something that really, really uplifts you. A lot of teachers are on YouTube that you can listen to. And when you do that, you change your frequency. And when you get to that place where you really believe that you are that new version of yourself, you have taken a quantum leap into the higher dimension, and you are then that new being. You become like a new being. You're not the same person anymore. You have recreated yourself. And because we're co-creators, we all have that capability and that ability. We're not stuck. You got to get rid of your fears. Fear is a big, big block to keeping us from expanding our consciousness. If you've got a lot of fear about life and things out there that might get you, not a good thing. You need to be fearless. And you can be, once you understand that you're protected, you're safe, you're divine, you're eternal, you're immortal, you're a child of God. That's all you need to do, is work on yourself. Enjoy the journey.